All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about something that completely flips the script on what we think success looks like. It's all about the introvert's edge. We're going to explore how that quiet, internal focus can actually lead to some, well, absolutely explosive outcomes. Let's dive in.
This quote really nails it, doesn't it? We're constantly told that to succeed, you've got to be the loudest person, the one dominating the conversation. But what if that's just completely wrong? What if the real power, the true power, isn't out there in all the noise, but deep inside, in the quiet?
So yeah, let's really chew on that idea for a second. In this world that is just nonstop noise, right? It never shuts up. What if the biggest, most powerful advantage you can have is actually the ability to just disconnect, to go inward, think deeply, and really tap into that quiet strength?
Okay, so to really answer that, we first have to bust some major myths. We need to look past all that external chatter and figure out what the introvert's real secret weapon is.
And this is where we just have to reframe the whole thing. The world might look at an introvert and see someone who's shy or withdrawn, but the reality, that's quiet and focused. What looks like weakness to the outside world is actually this incredible capacity for deep thinking. And that so-called passivity? No, that's independence. That's the power to think for yourself, far away from the influence of the crowd. Okay, so if we accept that introversion is a strength, a superpower even, the next logical question is, how do you actually use it? So let's talk about how to harness that incredible deep focus and really fuel your inner engine to get some amazing results.
Just look at these names for a second. Warren Buffett, J.K. Rowling, Bill Gates. Are any of them known for being the loudest person in the room? Not at all. Their empires, their entire legacies were built on countless hours of solitary, deep focus. They just thought longer and with more clarity than pretty much anyone else.
So you might be thinking, okay, how can I cultivate this superpower? Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, you've got to create your quiet zone. This can be a physical space or even just a mental one, but it's your fortress against distractions. Second, and this is huge, guard your energy. That means learning to say no and protecting your time like it's gold. And third, build rituals of solitude. Things like journaling, taking a long walk, whatever it is that helps you recharge and process. And listen, these aren't passive things to do. This is the actual training ground for building real momentum.
And this ability to focus, it doesn't just build personal momentum, it forges incredible leaders. It's time to completely kill this myth that only extroverts can lead. Because the truth is, quiet leadership often has a much, much deeper impact.
One of the greatest gifts of going inward like this is just clarity, pure and simple. When you actually step away from all the noise, from all the groupthink, your goals suddenly become crystal clear. Your strategies get way more creative because you're not just reacting to whatever the latest trend is. This is not withdrawal, people. This is strategy.
Think about the difference here. Loud leadership is often all about dominating the conversation, right? But quiet leadership, that's a whole different ballgame. It's about listening, truly listening, to understand. It's about building influence through genuine empathy and trust. And you know what happens? When a quiet leader finally does speak, their words carry so much more weight because everyone knows they're thoughtful, they're intentional.
All right, so this all brings us to the big payoff, right? How does all of this internal work, all this quiet strength, actually connect to tangible, real-world results? Let's get into how this unleashes those explosive outcomes we talked about.
Well, first off, your productivity just skyrockets. It's simple, really. When you can tune out all the noise and get into that state of deep focus, your attention becomes absolutely laser sharp. You get more done, the quality is higher, and it takes you less time. It's a win-win-win.
And what about innovation? Let's be honest. Great ideas rarely pop up in a chaotic, noisy brainstorming session. They need quiet space to actually emerge. When you create that space for deep thinking, you give true innovation room to breathe. You start connecting ideas in new ways and seeing solutions that everyone else just misses.
And this is so crucial. This whole approach is actually sustainable. You're not going to burn out from the constant pressure of having to be on all the time. Instead, you're protecting and guarding your energy. Recharging in that solitude, it builds a foundation for the long haul. It's a marathon, not just a short-term sprint.
So that is the introvert's edge. In a world that literally prizes and rewards distraction, your advantage is being sharper, more intentional, and way more sustainable. See, it's not about being louder, it's about being better.
So here's the takeaway, the call to action for you. Stop fighting who you are. Stop buying into this myth that louder equals better, because it doesn't. Instead, embrace your natural tendencies. Lean into that quiet focus and use it as the powerful fuel it is to do some absolutely extraordinary things.
So, I'll leave you with this one final thought. In a world that's just drowning in noise, what will your quiet power build?